All right. Okay, welcome to another MAFP Live. Welcome to another MAFP Live, and we're going to be getting right into it. First, just a few housekeeping tips. Before we get started, I want everyone to remember, please subscribe to our app. I know if you're just looking, just perusing, that's perfectly okay. That's perfectly okay if you're just looking around. But what we want you to do is I want you to know that you can subscribe. And when you subscribe, there are going to be so many more benefits, so many more things that are available to you after you subscribe to the Marriage Ain't for Punks app. The weekly we-dos, the love stories, and creating your own love stories, the Ask Pastor Cal, and so much more. So right now, I'm so happy to be offering these lives to you free of charge. Going forward, we want you to enjoy these now because going forward, the rates are going to change. So let's get ready. All right. Hello, people. Hi, Nick D. Good to see you. She's one of our faithful few. Excellent. All right. We're going to jump right in again. Please, while you're on, as soon as this is over, please look over the app. Look at the weekly redo. Look at the love story. I think that's one of the most fascinating parts of our app is creating your own love story. Please look at that and do what's necessary. Subscribe so that you can take advantage of these incredible offerings that we have. In addition to that, you want to make sure that you join our communities. Okay, go to the communities and join one as well. All right. Hi, Wendy. So let's jump right into it. I'm always amazed when I talk to people, single or married, and they talk about how difficult it is to find someone, and how difficult it is to fall in love, et cetera. Hey, Michael, it's good to have you on. But the interesting thing is, I think everyone's looking for something special. And I want you to please interact. If you have questions, do it. We're going to answer them in session. We're going to answer your questions as we speak. So feel free to throw them to me. Everyone's looking for something special, but everyone has the same story also. This is tough. How do I find somebody who can measure up to whatever my standards are? And that's why last week we were talking about the whole high value thing. Okay. Kevin Samuels made it popular, the whole terminology popular some years ago by talking about high value men. But we're going to talk about that a little bit more. And I want to answer your questions, but I want you to get ready because we're going to jump deep into this thing. It's going to be very, very exciting. Okay. Now, as we talked last week, we talked about some of the qualities of high value people or self-awareness, empathy, resilience, integrity, generosity, etc. But I want to go a little bit deeper because some of the things actually that we don't even consider when we're talking about high value people are those internal, because we always talk about the external stuff. Okay. So, but we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the internal things that make a person worthy of relationships, makes a person valuable. And one of the things that I'm going to talk to you, just a few tonight, is humility. Do you know anybody who thinks they know everything? I mean, no one likes a know-it-all. No one does. Okay? And it's great if you know things, if you have a degree or whatever, but some of the worst counseling sessions I've ever been in were with people who thought they knew it all. People who would not. In fact, I've been in sessions where people have tried to tell me what I should be saying. God knows it happens on the TV show. But even in my sessions, that happens quite often. So what I want to share with you is that one quality of a high value person as opposed to a person that you probably want to stay away from is somebody who lacks humility. There's nothing worse than someone who lacks humility. Humility is a key point. It's so key when it comes to finding somebody who might be worth you spending time with, or in a marriage. If you've noticed that your partner or something has become, less humble about things, I don't know, maybe gotten promotions or what have you, that could be a problem. That could be a problem as well. Hey, people, good to see you guys joining. So here's the thing I want to bring to you about this whole idea of humility. And again, if you have questions or comments, jump right in there, because I'm going to tell you something. Nothing can screw up a relationship more than arrogance. Thinking you gotta control every doggone conversation. Thinking you gotta control everything. Someone said, I never thought about that. Humility is everything. You're absolutely right. Humility is everything. But here's the problem. A lot of people feel as though to be humble, I'm losing something. But you gotta realize this, and I need you to remember this. Humility, vulnerability, that is a doggone superpower. Humility is everything. As one MAFP user said, humility is everything. And the thing that I find so interesting, and I don't want you to misunderstand what I'm saying, because I know we all believe in what we're saying. Okay? We all believe in what we're saying. For instance, why would I say it if I don't believe it's true? Okay? I remember a couple I counseled one time, and she told her husband, you think you're always right, don't you? You think you're always right. He sat there and thought about it for a second. He said, yeah, actually I do. And his reasoning was sound. He said, does anybody say anything and they think it's wrong? So we all believe that what we're saying is right. But there comes a time when humility is not present if you believe that what you're saying is right and you're unwilling to accept the possibility of error. That's the problem with arrogance. Someone says, what if they think they're being confident? Where do you draw the line between confidence and arrogance? Confidence is great. Arrogance is when you're not willing to accept correction. I'll give it to you like this. Most of us tend to think that our beliefs and our attitudes are better than everyone else's. We all believe that. We believe that if we say something, we have the best idea. Okay? It's called intellectual humility in psychology. All right. Now, intellectual humility means that I do not have an overestimation of my own beliefs, my own ideas. I understand that everything is open to change or open to augmentation or correction. That if I have a high intellectual humility. A low intellectual humility means that once I say it, that's it. That's it. And y'all know people like that. I ain't naming no names. Y'all know people like that. No matter what I say, that's the truth. That's it. I'm not going to yield. Okay? Those people are not considered people that you might want to consider valuable in your relationship. They're valuable as a human being, because we all are. But if you're going to match with someone, unless you don't mind that, you have to consider humility as a value that you might want to incorporate in your life, especially if you're dating. If you're married and your significant other is expressing an incredible amount of arrogance, I don't know, something has changed and they're not humble anymore, that person might want to consider serious counseling intervention. Because it's not long you go from arrogance to narcissism. And I don't throw that around lightly because I hate it when people pseudo label folk. Okay. So the question is, what if they think they're being confident? Thinking you're confident is great. But if you're unwilling to accept any kind of constructive criticism, that's a problem, which brings me to the next topics. Yeah, we roll it right in. Another quality of a high value person is the ability to accept criticism. The ability to accept criticism. While no one, and I mean this, no one particularly enjoys being criticized. I don't. And I know you don't either. Nobody enjoys being criticized. But high value individuals understand that constructive criticism is necessary for growth. Now, I'm going to share with you 3 kinds of criticism, okay? Once again, you have questions, you better throw them in there, okay? There are 3 kinds of criticisms. There's constructive criticism. To construct means to build, okay, to help someone become better. There's instructive criticism, okay, where I'm actually teaching you. I'm teaching you and guiding you through your difficult period to show you a better way. That's instructive criticism. Then the thirdly is destructive criticism. Destructive is only about tearing you down. But if someone is unwilling to accept constructive criticism where you're building them, or even instructive criticism where you want to show them how to get there, but they look at everything as being defensive, they're offended by everything you say. Every time you try to correct them, they're offended. Okay? That is a problem and a potential issue if you're looking for a mate. And if you're in a relationship with someone who doesn't like criticism, again, there needs to be counseling intervention. So you might ask yourself, since you're not asking me, you might ask yourself, why would someone not accept criticism if it's for their better, if it's for their good? There are a number of reasons. What do you think some of them are? I'm going to share them with you, but if you have any ideas, let me know. But the first one is low self-esteem. People who have a lower self-esteem, they feel insecure about one's abilities. They feel insecure about their own abilities. And so they feel like criticism is going to be a threat to them because they're already insecure about their abilities. So if you say anything, even though you might be well-intended, but if you say anything, they're going to give you a strong defensive reaction. But that's all about low self-esteem. So you might think that they're like, hey, they won't accept criticism. But underneath that, they're having some serious esteem issues. Okay? Here's a question. I can take criticism in a soft tone. I'm not sure if this is a not so great thing or not. I feel like I need the radio voice when someone criticizes me. Could this be from trauma? Now, I do understand what you're saying, MAFP user. I'm going to encourage you to go and put a tag name, fill out your profile. Someone says criticism is okay if it comes to me in a radio voice, okay, or in a tone that's acceptable. Look, criticism is already hard enough to accept. And if someone criticizes you, hear me, if someone criticizes you in a very aggressive way, the intention might be good, but what they might intend to be constructive criticism could be destructive because of the way they're presenting it. So I don't want you to really sleep on that. If you know how you want to be talked to, you know how you best receive things. So it's really important for you to understand that if I don't like to be yelled at, or if I don't like to be told what to do, if you want to talk to me, come to me from in a way or in a manner that's pleasing, in a manner where I can understand it, in a manner where it's not going to be offensive. I'll share this with you. Someone told me years ago, and I shared it with you when I was pastoring in a church years ago. Someone said, you can tell a person to go to hell in a way where they'll want to go. That's the whole idea. That's the whole idea. Okay. So even if you're giving criticism to a significant other, it's got to come with the correct tone. It's got to come with the correct volume. It's got to come with the correct pitch. Yes. I know it's tough, but if you want someone to hear you, then you have to present it in a way that's kind. Okay. If you're gaining a couple pounds, honey, I've been thinking lately, this could be him or her talking. Honey, I've been thinking lately, I'm really out of shape. I need to get to the gym. I think let's get us a gym membership. What do you think? Let's get us a personal trainer. Now, it's a criticism because it may be you and her. It may be just her. It may be just him. I don't know. But if you couch it, in psychology, they call it the sandwich approach. If you put something sweet, then put the criticism in the middle, then put something sweet on top, it's going to be easier for you to eat, as opposed to just coming to someone in a very strong and belligerent manner, okay? Someone says, okay, you're new to the app. Great. Welcome. Teach people how to treat you. Excellent. Tone is key. And there are, in my book, Marriage Ain't for Punks, there are a number of ways that in the 7 paths of communication, I share with you that there are a number of ways that when you're communicating to someone, especially when you're delivering criticism, that you got to be careful of. You got to be careful of your tone. You got to be careful of your volume. You have to consider your volume, consider your tone, consider your silence. Because sometimes silence can speak louder than words. Consider your tone. If I'm talking to you like this at the bottom of my register and I'm saying, you know what, I really need you to listen to me. I know we've been having some trouble, but let's really, I think that we really need to talk about this, because I really feel that I'm hurt. I really feel hurt when you do this. Okay, that tone is one thing, as opposed to, listen, I'm sick and tired of you coming at me like that. And every time I turn around, you're doing the same thing over and over and over. Same message, but that tone, that pitch, that volume, it all makes a difference. And we want to believe that if we're in a relationship, we can just talk however we want. You cannot. As a matter of fact, in a relationship, you have to even be more careful because that person is more vulnerable to you than a stranger. Okay? All right. Always good to be reminded of this stuff. Excellent. Thank you, Nick D. So it's important. It's so important for you to change that tone because remember, a person who is defensive of that is because they may have low self-esteem. They may have an incredible fear of failure, and the perception that criticism equates to failure is a real thing. Some people believe that if they're being criticized, that they're failing. So understand that also is a problem, okay? And lastly, yes, as the gentleman said earlier, or the gentlewoman said earlier, could it be from past experiences? Absolutely. It could be from past experiences where you were criticized early on and now it's a very sensitive. Again, if that is an issue, please seek help, okay? Go into the app. We're going to be constantly bringing you information. We're going to have other people coming on talking about these issues also. So, a person who refuses to accept criticism, that is something you have to understand. Now, you have to also understand the why. Again, I said low self-esteem, fear of failure, past experiences that may have harmed you. Yes, absolutely. Past abuse also. People who've been abused have an incredibly tough road to go because you want to move forward. But I'm telling you, abuse, and it's not always physical abuse, but verbal abuse sometimes can be more damaging than physical abuse. Physical abuse, it comes, it goes, it carries with it the memories, it carries with it the pain. But verbal abuse can actually reach down into the psyche, right? And it can actually start planting seeds in your mind and making you feel ways about yourself that you never should be feeling. Okay, so understand that, yes, abuse can be it can be a big problem in people being afraid or hesitant or reticent to accept criticism. Okay, but if someone is not accepting criticism, especially if you're single and looking for somebody and they are not accepting criticism, that's a red flag. I'm sorry. If they say something off the wall at a restaurant and you tell them, honey, you know what? I don't know if that was the best thing to say. Well, what are you talking about? If they go off like that, red flag. Do not move forward. I'm sorry, but I'm very serious about that. Someone says there are a lot of mate seekers who have wife or husband characteristics written all over them, but are attracting and linking up with mates that can't read. I'm going to read that again. There are a lot of mate seekers who have wife-husband characteristics written all over them, but they're attracting and linking up with mates that can't read. Vet your potential mate before actually booing up with them. Absolutely. Let me share this with you. On the show that I do, Married at First Sight, we vet people 3 to 4 months before we even connect them. And we're going to still have some challenges because people can not be who they really are. But vetting is really a real thing. And a lot of what we do, even when we start going to be doing the matchmaking in our app, there's going to be a vetting process that you have to go through. There are questionnaires in the single side. Those questionnaires are designed to help you find out about yourself and to help you find out so that we can compare how you feel about yourself with how you feel about your partner or your partner's feelings and then connect you. So you're absolutely right, Michael. You must vet people. You must. But in your vetting, you have to understand that normalcy is the key. In vetting, you can't expect someone to be at the high end, the absolute highest end of your expectations, because you won't find them. There is no one at the highest end of your expectations. It just doesn't exist. And if you find someone there, I will guarantee you that they won't be there for long. It's life. People are human. People make mistakes. People fail. No one's perfect. And one of the biggest challenges I find with people who are looking for, and with people who are in relationships, because social media and our social society current has really changed people's expectations even in marriage. But one thing I find is that our expectations sometimes are so high. We're looking for high value people so ardently, so viciously. We're looking for high value people that we forget that the greatest values are internal and not external. Okay, so just keep that in mind. The third and last thing I'm going to present to you about what really constitutes high value is self-respect. A person who respects himself. Okay, let me ask this one question first. What if you're married to someone who is arrogant, but when you first married them, you thought it was confidence? Well, you didn't vet, first of all, but that's past tense, because arrogance, again, and confidence can be distinguished by whether or not a person accepts constructive criticism, kindly given. And if you thought this person was confident and now this person's become arrogant, if they still love you and they're in a relationship with you and they still care about you, they should be willing to hear you. And in hearing you is saying, listen, I understand you're confident, but the way you are really hurts me. I'm really concerned, and I wish we could talk about this. Okay? I wish we could talk about this. All right? So, someone says, my vetting meter was broken. Well, who are you talking about here? Okay. What does that mean? Okay. Self-respect. The most important sign of a high-value person, I believe, is self-respect. And I think it's the most important. It's the most important, okay? And I'm going to get into that, but I want to answer this question also. What if you dated and married someone during COVID and find out now that they are for the streets? Wow. COVID really worked. That's a great question, Nick D. COVID really worked on us. It really did, because it created a lot of these false environments, where, excuse me, a lot of people, because we were in these enclosed circles, we found ourselves falling into relationships because of proximity. And because of just circumstances. We were in these circumstances with these people, and we mistook closeness for circumstances. Okay? We mistook what we thought was growing in love to growing in dependence. And so growing in dependence, not independence. So the problem there is what's very interesting is, if you've dated someone and you're finding now that they're for the streets, if you ain't married to them, it's time for you to change course. Period. Time for you to change course. Do not continue in a course that's destined for destruction. Don't do it. Okay? Trust your instincts. You understand the circumstances under which you met this person. And if you met this person under those circumstances, and now you find that something is awry, it's not the same that you thought, then please, it's time for you to consider whether or not this is something that should continue. All right? Okay. Can we talk about self-respect versus self-centered? Yes, I want to deal with that real quick. The most important sign, I believe, value the important quality of a high-value person is self-respect. Now, what I mean by high-value individuals, they know themselves. Okay, we're going to talk about self-respect and self-centered. Thank you for that question. Who is that? Charles. There's a big difference. High-value people know their worth, and they don't allow others to treat them poorly or take advantage of them. That's self-respect. Not allowing someone to treat me poorly or take advantage of me. Now, that means that as a person with self-respect, I set healthy boundaries for myself. I really, 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 really need you to get this. I set healthy boundaries for myself, and I stand up for myself when necessary. Okay? However, self-respect, self-centered means that I am only focused on myself. Self-respect means that I know what I'm worth. Self-centered says I'm worth more than you. Difference. I can know my own worth. I can understand my own worth, understand my own value, and still understand your value. But when I believe that my value is greater than yours, that's self-centeredness. And I hope you get the distinction, because it's very true that if I have self-respect, I simply set healthy boundaries. I know when to say no. I also know when to say yes. I don't feel forced to say yes. I don't become a yes man. If it does not comport with my values, then I will kindly say, no, I can't do that. I'm sorry. No, I can't do that. That's self-respect. If I find that something is not in line with the direction I'm going in life, I say, you know what? I'm not going to go in that direction. That's self-respect. But when I start saying, hey, this is the direction I'm going to go in, and if you don't go in that direction, you're stupid. That's self-centered and rude, but it's definitely self-centered, okay? Shouldn't we have extensive conversations with people? Of course. I think that before you get married, period, there should be extensive vetting. There should be extensive conversations. And you should at least you should have to reveal a lot of yourself to professional people, to counselors, where they can actually help you to parse through your own issues, okay? I'm married, but still changing course. Yes. I am married, but still changing course. I want you to unpack that a little bit. What do you mean by that? You're married and you're changing course out of marriage, or you're married and you're changing course in marriage? Let me know what you mean. I'm glad you're giving a healthy definition of high value. Thank you. And here's the thing. And then someone said, self-respect, self-love, and selfishness. Self-love and self-respect go hand in hand. I can only have respect for myself if I love myself. Okay. But when I am enamored with myself, then I become selfish. Yeah. If I love myself, I have to respect myself. But if I'm enamored by myself, I become selfish. And selfishness means that I'm more important than anyone else around me. Okay. So that's something that we must consider. Okay. Okay. She said that was on the COVID answer. Absolutely. Okay. Now here's a MAFP user who hasn't changed his profile yet. Pastor Cal, I'm friends with an ex of, let me get this here. I'm friends with an ex of 9 years. He feels that wow. Okay. Stay with me. You all get this now. I'm friends with an ex. I'm going to go a few minutes here just to handle this. I'm friends with an ex of 9 years. He feels that I am his wife, but to be honest, I am not so sure. I am convinced of that. So he has already claimed you as his spouse. I feel really bad because he is a great catch. Okay. He's teachable. That's good. Our families love one another. That's great. I'm not attracted to him. I met him when I was not healed from a divorce 9 years ago. Okay. I broke up with him due to my rededicating my life to God and not have sexual relations outside of my marriage. He has grown spiritually as well. We have been broken up for 1 year now. If he is a great guy, I fight with why can't I want to marry this guy? I'm scared of whatever else is out there in these streets. Wow, thank you so much for sharing that, first of all, MAFP user. Listen, here's something I need you to really, really, really understand, though. And it's so important. And again, thank you for sharing. You can love someone and not marry them. You don't have to marry everyone you love. You don't have to marry everyone you respect. Okay? There are a number of elements that have to be in place for you to say, I want this person to be my forever partner. And no one can determine what those elements are but you. Now, you've named a couple. You said he's teachable. Your families love one another. Those are obviously important to you. But I'm not attracted to him. That is more important to you. I am not in the position to tell you, forget attraction. No, no. I'm not going to do that. You have to determine what's most important. And if your attraction, that physical desire, that physical drawing to another person, if that's important to you, then that is something that you must consider. That's something that you must consider. That's something that you must focus on. Okay? And you must realize that irrespective of how good this person is, doesn't mean you got to marry him. And another important point is that you were not healed from a divorce from 9 years ago. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to get involved in a trauma bonding situation where that person is only there to sort of maybe mask some of the pain that you were feeling. Okay. You being away is a good thing because you actually need to be in counseling. Talk with a good counselor who can help you wade through those things. It's okay to communicate with that person. It's okay to communicate with them. However, if your desire for that person does not continue, okay, you have to determine. I'm not going to tell you whether to or not. You have to determine whether your desire for that person is as great a value as your respect for that person. I hope you understood what I'm saying. Oh man, I've missed so much. Are these lives recorded? Yes, they are. They are, and they're going to be on demand not too long from now. Okay, these last questions, and then we're going to go because our time is up. You said if dating changed course, I'm married and changed. Okay, I hear you, Nick D. So listen, whether you're dating or married, and if you're changing courses, you're on the right app because we still have people who are married, divorced, whatever, and still needing and finding love. Okay. Thank you guys so much. Listen, please join our groups. For a lot of you guys have questions. You have questions that you've shared so openly and honestly. I'm going to challenge you. Go into our communities on the app. If you have a group that you want to join, for instance, COVID relationships, Nick D. Start a group about COVID relationships and let other people come in, start having conversations. I'm going to be going into those groups and having lives in the groups as well, okay, as well as other professionals who will be as also. So do that. Join the groups. I would love to hear from you guys, and I hope you don't mind hearing from me some more, okay? Thank you so much. God bless you guys. Until next time, you guys have the happiest of holidays. We'll see you next time.